so we're going to start by taking 1 cup of milk, and I'm just going to put it in the microwave for about 15 seconds. You just want warm. You don't want burning hot, but warm. So I'm doing a double batch. So I've put 2 cups of milk into my bowl that I am going to heat up for 30 seconds. We want this just to be lukewarm, not boiling hot, because we're going to be adding the yeast to it, and we don't want that yeast to die off because the temperature of the milk is too hot. So I'm going to add my warm milk. Remember, I'm doing a double batch, so it's just 1 cup of warm milk. And for your instant dry yeast, you're going to do 2 teaspoons and 1/4. Since I'm doing a double, I am doing 1, 2, 3, 4, and a half for me. But for you guys, it's 2 and 1/4 if you're just doing a single batch. Make a little bit extra because stuck to the sides. There's that. I'm just going to give this to mix it up just a little bit. And I'm going to let it sit for probably about 2 or 3 minutes, just so it gets nice and foamy and kind of absorbs in there. But you do not have to do that. You can just go ahead and mix in your eggs and powdered milk. But usually why this is sitting is when I'm going to take the same bowl that I had my milk in, and I'm going to add my powdered milk to it and mix the egg. Now, for 1 batch, it's just 1/4 cup of powdered milk. Like I said, I'm doing a double batch, so I am doing a half a cup, but I already have my 1/4 in there due to the fact that I make this recipe all the time. That has its own designated cup measurement. And I'm going to add 2 eggs to this, 2 eggs, since I am doing a double batch. So for those that are doing the 1 batch or single batch, just 1 egg, which I'm going to link the recipe in the description for you guys. And I just mix my egg and my powdered milk because my eggs are quite large. You can use a tablespoon of milk if you don't want to mix your egg into it with this. I just do this because I have my chickens lay quite large eggs, so I don't need that extra milk. I'm just going to mix this just like this. It looks like a scrambled egg. I'm going to lift this up, and then I am going to go ahead and scoop it all inside with my yeast and warm milk. Put my cover back on my KitchenAid just because I don't want it to splash out on me. I'm going to give that a nice mix. And it should get nice and foamy. I will show you. See some bubbles mixing up in there. I'll turn it down a little bit lower. There we go. Nice foamy. Now I'm going to add my sugar. 1, 2, 3 for 1 batch. And then since I'm doing a double batch, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to go ahead and mix that up a little bit. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and set my butter out on the table. If you have it frozen, just defrost it. Just needs to be room temperature. So that way, we're going to put that in at the very end and it keeps it from being sticky. So now I'm going to add my flour. So I am doing a double batch, so I am doing 6.5 cups. But for a regular batch, you just do 3 1/4 cups of flour. You can slowly have that beater going at the same time if you want. 6.5 there, and we're just going to let this mix up for a few minutes until it gets a nice texture. Now that that's put in there just a little bit, not fully mixed, just stirred, I'm going to add my salt. 1, 2. I'm using salt-free butter or the unsalted butter, so definitely use that salt. But if you're using salted butter, you can half that amount of salt if you need to, or not. It doesn't really matter. Now I'm going to go ahead and let this mix up. And I'm using my dough hook for the entire thing, and it will, you're basically going to mix this until it gets to, I'm going to turn that off so you guys can hear. You're going to mix it until it gets to almost like a Play-Doh consistency, but still be a little bit sticky, and that's when we're going to add our butter. And your dough should look a little bit like this. It will look a little dry, as you can see, but it's all mixed together. This is when you're going to add your butter. So I have my room temperature butter here. For 1 batch, you're just going to use 1 full stick of butter. Like I said, I'm doing a double batch, so I will be using 2 sticks of butter. I use real butter. I don't use imitation butter, but you can use whatever. I like to save the wrappers because I will use that to put my mixing or my bowl to like grease to help it from sticking. This one, there we go. Yes, I'm using my fingers because my hands are washed and it's just me and my children eating it. Now I'm just going to turn that back on. I'm probably going to put this back. Okay, there. So as you see, the butter is going to mix down and this will give it this nice, it won't stick to your hands. So I'm just going to mix this in there until all that butter is nice and mixed up inside there. And it should give you, like I said, a new Play-Doh feel where it's very easily moldable, but not sticky. If it's not, you can always add a little bit of flour until you get that Play-Doh texture. Okay, I just stopped probably after like 10 minutes. So when I said it should look kind of like new Play-Doh, it should. So, and it does not stick to your hands. That's the texture you're going. That's why I just mixed my eggs in with the powdered milk, because then I'm not adding that extra dough, because otherwise you need to add, it's if you're using large eggs, you know, powdered milk, or you can just add the powdered milk, mix it in there. But it should be stretchy, but not sticky. And it literally will just kind of feel like Play-Doh. So those wrappers that I saved, not that this will stick, but I do like doing this in here as well as in my, there. And see, it's all just like this big ball of Play-Doh. I could just put it all into this one, but I know how big it's going to get. So I'm going to cut this in half. It's going to twist it. You see how it's not really sticking? I'm going to quickly form it into a nice ball. Roll it. Definitely, it should kind of feel like Play-Doh. Sorry, I almost like playing with it just because of that. Okay, this one in here. Form this one out into a ball as well. And this will give me 4 big loaves. But what I'm also going to do is I'm going to be making biscuits as well as pretzel bites. So I'm going to have 2 loaves of bread, and then I'm going to do pretzels. So I'm going to cover this one up very, very lightly. And then I'm going to put another towel over the top of this one. I'm going to stick them in my oven with just the oven light on to help it rise for about 40 minutes. Okay. So I'm going to stick these in my oven just with the oven light on. And I'm going to leave them for about 40 minutes. And then I will come back. Okay, my went off. 40 minutes. It's a good, nice, yay, it's good. And then we're just going to break them down and roll them out, and then they'll have a quick rise and then bake, and we'll be done. Alrighty, so I need to readjust this bad boy because it's fallen down. It's okay. So if I'm going to go ahead and drop this out, yes, this is all squishy, still not sticky. So I'm going to adjust and cut it in half, slide back in there. Going to cut this one, and so I'm making my bread first. Sorry, my children are like talking in the background and I was confused. What I'm going to do is these are going to be the bread, so this will be one bread. So first I'm going to try to make this a nice even log shape. So the cut is perfect. So instead of just forming it like you would other bread and then stick it in, we're actually going to roll this bad boy out. I mean, just make a giant one and do this. Maybe but I'm going to do it the traditional way, the way I do it normally. 1, 2, and then just do 4. So I'm just going to set those on top of there. I'm just going to roll it out. And if you're like, why are you rolling your bread out? You just took it forever to rise. 40 minutes, not a long rise. This actually helps activate. Now, I did use bread flour this time, so I do not know how the rise is going to be. Someone told me the rise is even better, but I usually just use all-purpose flour. I mean, got a good rise on this. I usually use all-purpose, so I am going to try it with bread flour, just because it said they didn't bleach. I also use the whole wheat too, which is probably more so what I do when I make the biscuits and stuff, or use my sourdough to do it. So I've done it. You can do it many, many ways, but this will be the first time that I do it with bread flour. So then you're just going to roll it up, literally just like that. Tuck your sides under. I have my pan here, but I am going to use the butter. That's why I saved the butter wrapper earlier. And then I'm going to stick this one in the middle. And then on to the next. And you just roll them all out, stick them in there, and it will expand. And we're going to set them back in the oven just to let it rise again for another. So the total time is 3 hours. I like to roll them out really flat because then it helps it get its bounce back. It's fairly simple, just like that. Place it. Actually, move my butter plate and I'll keep that one there so you guys can see it. I have my other one there, so. And then we'll do our 2 ends. You can do this into 5 pieces too if you want. I mean, 4. Another one, I'm just going to roll the whole thing out and make a giant loaf of bread. I meant to go long ways with this one first, and I did not. But do you see how it's like not sticky? Just perfect. I don't know if you guys can see that these are already plumping up fairly quickly. It's just something to do with the when you roll it out, it causes like this immediate, almost I guess if you're kneading, it causes like almost instantaneous rise, which is crazy. Get out of my way. I saw a dry piece. I probably should have just pushed it back in, but I didn't. Must have had flour sitting somewhere. But yeah, I mean, like as I flatten this out, you see it try to like plunk up. That is just the magic of this bread. The magic of this bread is that it bounces back up fairly nicely. There's that for that one. Let's set it aside right there. My other one, put my butter inside it, and you're just gonna preheat oven to 350. Oh, it's just like the end of the world, people. Can you tell it's summer? Children are constantly home, and my husband is working from home now as well. During the afternoon, he's in office half day, and then he gets to come home, which I don't know, you know. Now we're just gonna roll it. Okay. I still feel like I've never done this that way. Just like that. So I'm gonna make biscuits. I apologize for all the noise in the background of my small children, but hey, that's life. They're playing a Roblox game with their friends. Guess not. I did do a lot of other stuff. It's already done. Identify fear or euphoria is my willingness or my small if you continue and persist and grow and give it enough time. Okay, so they have a very nice rise for the size that I wanted them. Just mix some egg. We're going to give it a little bit of egg and a dash of milk for the wash. I already preheat my oven to 350. While I was waiting there, I actually made some pasta. So we're just going to mix this up fairly quick. And then we're going to egg milk wash this. Brush it on there. Give it that nice. But do you see how much these rise? This wasn't even that big. It was a half of a... Basically, that was one mixture makes some bigger logs. That one's egg washed. And yes, you can cut these too. The trash man has come. And these will actually get even a lot bigger once they're done cooking. 20 minutes, and these will be super fluffy and delicious. I'm just going to put them in the oven. Almost done. So we got 1, and then 2. We'll set those in there for 20 minutes. So these ones are still right. Still to rise because I did get done with these the same time that I got done with the bread. So I'm just going to leave them on my stove since my bread is in the oven. But they will sit here nicely with all of that heat coming from that bread cooking, and they'll rise even more. It's just like they've already risen quite a lot. Some of those pretzels aren't quite the shape that I was going for, but that's fine. It's fine. All right. Timer just went off. Let's see how we look. Oh yeah, that was great. Now if I would have doubled it up and just put one in there, it would have been a huge loaf. Isn't that what I was trying to do? These are for little mini pepperoni sandwiches. And then delicious. Absolutely. All right, so while these are just sitting there cooling, I'm going to egg wash these. Beautiful. Not the best shape there. I was kind of rushing. Kids were being loud, but it doesn't matter. They're pretzels. Look big. Some of these got huge, and they're going to get bigger in the oven. Oh, yay. So whatever. That way people aren't wasting, I guess, right? We'll have bigger ones, smaller ones, and then I'll sprinkle some salt on those. These are just rolled. I'm going to freeze. I'm going to pop these in the oven. And these will go in for about 25 minutes. Alexa, set a timer for 25 minutes. That is beautiful. Beautiful. Too quickly. Top with a little bit of butter. So these are mini loaves. Just okay. And I will show you what that looks like on the inside. Also, I almost forgot. So these not just need egg wash, these also need butter. For all you guys are like, oh my gosh, why are you putting egg on your cooked stuff? No, I already did that. These were already cooking in there for a little bit, but I had actually forgotten to put salt on the top of these. Like a butt that I am. A lot of them aren't even falling on. Get on there. Get on it. Stick. It was supposed to stick to the egg wash, but that's all right. And I can put this one back in. There we go. Okay. Okay. So, but maybe not so much. So now, I don't know. Can you guys see that? This is a very, like, a little bit of a crisp. And it is like these, kind of almost like a croissant a little bit. I'm going to use a piece of real butter. Stick half of that there. The other half here. We're going to eat the butter. Got no sugar. But nice and fluffy. Super good. Yep. So good. Like I said, I want to show you guys again. Already ate some of it. Do you like this bread?
Yes.
How good is this bread?
10 out of 10.
They already ate this whole loaf, if that shows you. And like it's heavy, but it's fluffy, like angel food. Cake. You're not getting that whole piece. You just ate a whole piece. Hence why I make so many, as well as the mini rolls and the pretzels. The only difference is like salt in them. What else is mixed in? So we're going to cut through this. I do have a bread knife too, but this one's very, very, and this will stay soft too, like at least a week. The outside might get a little bit hard, but you see it's almost like white bread texture. So where is my bread knife? There it is. Make mini sandwiches with these. I was hoping for a big loaf there, but very many sandwiches. Like little club sandwiches. Like I said, if I would have put both of them together and it would have been one gigantic loaf, which is actually what I do normally. I just made mini because I did. I'm gonna have to make some more. But like I said, I just want to see this. It's just, and just like white bread, if you squish it, like it's soft, very fluffy, extremely good texture, extremely good flavor. Think of Aunt Annie's pretzels without the salt mixed with like Wonder Bread type white bread. That's kind of the flavor you get. Well, thank you all so much for coming to my kitchen and watching and making this amazing like Japanese milk bread hybrid. I hope you and your family enjoy it for many, many years to come and even modify it to something that you guys like and love. Till next time, guys. Later. Bye.